Today I'm excited to show you some of my best data projects. These are projects that resemble what a data analyst or a data scientist will actually do in the workplace. There is also a good mix of skill sets such as Python, SQL, Tableau, data cleaning, exploratory data analysis, statistics and much more. These are projects that I've mainly completed in the past year since I opened this channel, and so you will find the links to the step-by-step tutorials in the video description down below in case you're interested to replicate the projects and maybe add it to your own data portfolio. And if there is a project that I haven't made a tutorial video for, but you would be interested to see, please let me know in the comments below. Little spoiler alert, I will leave the project that I think is the best one at the end, so make sure to stick with me. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is the first project that I wanted to show you. So this is a channel performance dashboard and it's actually based on the YouTube data of my channel. And I'll show you the starting point is this Excel file that I downloaded from YouTube, where basically you see all the information about my videos that are public in my YouTube channel. So you have the title of the video, you have the description of the video, if it's public, the date published, the category, the file name, the view count, the comments count, the like count, dislike count, and also the length in seconds. And so yeah, it's basically all the collection of the video that are on my channel. And this is the dashboard that I built in Tableau. I actually made a whole tutorial on that, so you will see that in the video description. But the dashboard is very simple. You have the title at the top, so channel performance dashboard with a few images. And then you have a channel summary, so you see the total videos uploaded. And if I hover over, I see the regular video versus the shorts video. So the shorts video are those less than 1 minute long. Then I have the total number of views, total number of likes, dislikes, and comments. Again, if I hover over all of these KPIs, I see the distinction between this metric between regular and shorts videos. And then I want to see the performance of shorts versus regular videos to see which one is performing better. And so I have a little bulb here where I explain what I'm analyzing. If again I'm over, I explain the difference between popularity and engagement, how I calculate these metrics. And then you have this kind of very simple bar chart. So I see that I have more views in regular videos. Actually, the engagement, which is the like over the view ratios, is actually quite similar between regular and short videos. And yeah, some insights between the two. And then I have a chart showing the correlation between views and length of regular videos. So we have the view in the y-axis and the length in minutes in the x-axis. And yeah, I just demonstrated there is not very strong correlation between the two. So it doesn't mean that, the longer the video and the more the views. And then lastly, I have a take immediate action section where I list the videos with no tags. And so I know that, for example, this video is missing tags. And so I need to go back to my channel and add the tags. I also see the least performing videos in my channel, so I know that this regular video and these shorts videos are the ones that are performing not very well in the channel, so maybe, I might redo them or actually remove them from my channel altogether. And actually, I also list the videos with dislikes higher than likes, which thankfully there is none in this table, so it means that all of my videos have likes that are at least higher than dislikes. And so yeah, as I said, I'll leave a resource in the description and you can try to replicate this little project. So next up is another, let's say, personal project that you can easily replicate. This one instead is based in Python and is a personal finance tracker. So the goal is simple. I want to understand how much money I spend per month, understanding, where my money goes, in which category, and also understanding, if, for example, this month I spent more or less than previous month. And so to do that, this is the Python notebook and I'm within Jupyter. At the start of the code, I import all the packages that I need because I want to create my little app that tracks all of my spendings. And so, I import stuff like Pandas, NumPy, Google Spread, which is the library for the Google Drive API. I'll explain why in a second. And also a few other libraries and packages to create an interactive dashboard. And then I will explain in the coding here different options to connect to the data. So Option 1 is to connect to your Google Drive, because maybe that is the place where you stored your bank statement. Because ideally you will need to download your bank statement with all of your transactions. And as I said, you can put it in Google Drive and actually create a connection using Python to access your Google Drive and import your Excel file or your bank statement into Python into a data frame and start working with that. So that is option 1. Or maybe you already have your CSV file saved in your machine, so you can just use pandas to read the CSV file. Or actually, if you have issues, for example, downloading your bank statement, I give you also option 3, which is actually creating a data set manually. Maybe you just want to test data, maybe you don't have your own data. So I actually have this code that will create the data for you, different transactions, and will create this data frame. And so let me actually run the code to show you the output. So the first one is running to import all the packages, and then I'm running the second block, and this is the data frame that I'm working on. So you have the date of the transaction, completed date, the description, the amount, the currency, and the balance as well. And if I scroll down, I basically do a lot of a bit of cleaning in the first lines. Then what I do is define all the categories, because as you see here, there is no category assigned to each transaction, so I have to do that manually. And so the way that I do it is, okay, let's define all the categories. So for example, coffee, groceries, shopping, restaurants, and all of that. Okay, so let me give you an example. So I'm based in the UK, and so the grocery shops that we have, things like Tesco, Sainsbury, Asda, Lidl, and Nisa, and others. And so what I'm saying is, if you see any of this text in the description, then put the transaction into the groceries category. And I basically try to do that all the transactions that I have. So for example, I have even travel. So if it's Ryanair, EasyJet, or Airways, put it into travel. And basically I try to do that. And also I have this line where I check the unassigned transactions. So I make sure that all the transactions are assigned to at least one category. And then basically I start by building the dashboard. So I create a top banner or a summary of all of my last month income, recurring expenses and no recurring expenses. So this is the part of the code that does that. And then again, I'm building different parts of the dashboard. And so it's easier for me now to show you what is the final result. And again, if you want to know more details about this, I have a whole video that I'm gonna link up here that you can check to replicate this whole project. And so this is the final dashboard. So, I call it personal finance summary. I also have a quote on the left-hand side. So if you can't manage your money, making more won't help. Little image. And so as you can see, I have these boxes at the top where I can input my income and my recurring expenses. So that is something that I want to do manually, because these are things that ideally kind of fixed. And then the code will actually input the data for the non-recurring expenses. So that is something that it calculates automatically. And then it gives me the savings, right, for the last month, which will be income minus recurring expenses minus non-recurring expenses. And then I have at the bottom a little chart showing the last month expenses divided by category. So it gives me an idea that, for example, I'm spending a lot in restaurants and groceries and not a lot in self-care. Then I have the amount for all the expenditures divided by month. So I see that, for example, in February 2023, I spent less compared to January. And also I have a table that is listing all the transactions. So, in case I want to see more details, and also a filter at the left-hand side with the categories that I can select, the categories that I define. So coffee, groceries, and all of that. So that is also quite handy. Next up is a project that is actually based on SQL. Again, you can find the video on YouTube, and it's called Practical Data Analytics with SQL in my YouTube channel. And I also go through this whole project in terms of, the different steps to tackle a SQL project. The goal here, the project context, is I want to have as my stakeholder or client, a person who is developing an app that wants to put in the Apple Store. And so what I'm trying to do is to analyze the data that I have in the Apple Store of already existing apps and try to give recommendation to this new developer based on, the data that I have. So I found a very cool data set from Kaggle.com, and I'm using a platform that is called SQLite.com to actually, work with SQL, connect to my data with no login required, no installation required in my laptop. So really like an amazing tool to just get started using SQL. So I upload in this case, 5 different tables from the Apple Store. And then we identify the stakeholders. So this is what I'm doing now. And so this is important because I already defined the kind of questions that I want to answer in this project. So what app categories are most popular, what prices should I set, and how can I maximize the user ratings. And so the first step is doing some exploratory data analysis. And so as you can see here in the screen, I check the number of unique apps in all the tables that I have, just to see that all tables are matching in terms of apps that I'm exploring. I also check for any missing values in key fields like the user rating, the name, the genre of the app. I also check on the number of apps per genre. So again, to give me an idea of what I'm working on. I also see an overview of the app's ratings. So again, a very simple statement. So here I'm just checking the minimum rating, the maximum rating, and also the average. And then I actually have this section where I go into the actual finding insights for my client, for my stakeholder. And so, I start by determining whether paid apps have higher ratings than compared to free apps. Then I check if apps with more supported languages have higher ratings. And then I do a lot of other stuff. So for example, I also check genres with low ratings. And then basically at the end, I present all of my findings in a form of recommendations. And so, for example, recommendation number 1, paid apps have better ratings. Recommendation number 2, or finding number 2, is apps supporting between 10 and 30 languages have a better rating. And for example, apps with a longer description have better ratings as well. So again, I give suggesting, okay, if these apps with a longer description have better ratings, then this new developer should also try to do the same if he's aiming for good rating for the new app that he's developing. And so again, I will leave all the resources in the video description. Another very cool SQL project that you can replicate for your portfolio. Next project is again based on Tableau, and this time we're using Deliveroo data. So these are data that I found online, and it's kind of a challenge. It's not straightforward to understand, but it's called the rider get rider channel performance. And basically it seems to be an initiative within Deliveroo that basically explains that a Deliveroo rider can refer someone else to become a rider. And so we want to understand this initiative called rider get rider, if it's actually successful or not. And so I have this question, 3 questions that I need to answer as part of this challenge. So how has this initiative performed? How does that compare with other channels? Is rider get rider a successful scheme? Should it be changed? If it should be changed, what are some important factors which should be considered? Again, I want to show you what is the starting point is a CSV file with the data, so the rider ID, the location, the application date, first work date, the acquisition channel, vehicle type, and a lot of metrics such as the days since acquisition, hours of work cumulative, and a few more. And so this is the final result. I built a dashboard in Tableau where I start by counting the total number of riders, and then I want to see, okay, what is the number of riders by different metrics. So I see by vehicle, by city, by application date. And in this info button, I actually put the insight of this analysis. So I say the vast majority of the riders use a bicycle. They are in this city called Row York and applied in October 2016. And I show the charts. And then I go down and I want to see what is the rider's performance. And again, I do a little table where I color code the different values, so green and red. And again, I have the insight in the info button. I also check how many riders have been acquired by channel. So organic, referral is the one that we are interested in. And again, I have the insight here. So around 23% of riders have been acquired through referrals. What is the number of referred riders by, again, vehicle, by city, by application date. So similar to the one at the top, but specifically on referrals. And then I try to tackle the question, so how is RGR performing compared to other channels? And I have this kind of matrix, again, color-coded. How the RGR is performing over time. So I have here a filter, you can select different KPIs and see the performance. And then what is the percentage of change? And then different other tables showing other details. And then actually in this project, I put the conclusions and all the main takeaways inside the dashboard itself as a kind of a text at the bottom of the dashboard. So again, you can see basically the summary of my analysis. So again, I leave the resources in the video description, and feel free to give it a go and let me know in the comments what you think. Next up is another challenge that I found online that is called CRM analysis. So CRM stands for Customer Retention Management. So it's an important area within marketing to understand if, a company is able to retain customers or not. And in this challenge, we have two data sets. So we have this data set that basically shows campaign titles, the variant of the campaign. So it's few campaigns, but with different variants. And you see the metrics are emails delivered, emails open, emails clicks, delivery rate, open rate, and a lot of stuff about these marketing campaigns. So this is the data set number one. And the second data set is this one here, a bit weird in terms of formatting, but usually, again, we don't work with clean data, so we need to do a bit of cleaning ourselves. And so the challenge here is divided into two parts. So the first part is to analyze the data set and answer the following questions. So how many customers have churned? What do you notice about the year-over-year change across different segmentations? Is there a relationship that can be drawn between what's happening? What are some of the key differences between different regions? And then part two is about the set of email campaigns. So actually the first data set that I show you with asking a summary of the results overall within the time period, breakdown of the differences in performance by region, detail on the outcome of the test, and so on. And so for this project, actually, I created a presentation that I call CRM Data Analysis. I created actually in Tomi.app, which is a tool to create presentations using AI, and I really love it because I use it for free and I can use AI to help me to build presentations and formatting in a very nice way. So this is just the first slide, the title, and then I go to the customer base analysis. So I created some charts in Tableau and I paste it here in the presentation. I paste the question that I'm trying to answer, the assumption, super important before actually starting to answer the question, and my conclusion based on the charts. And then, as you can see here, I have a lot of other stuff. So again, this is the customer base analysis. This is the first slide with a correlation chart. Then I actually see the differences between different regions. Again, chart built in Tableau. And then this is actually the part for the marketing campaign analysis. So first of all, I check all the distribution for the different metrics that I see in the data set. I break down the differences between different regions because we have UK, rest of world, and the US. And then I go to the details on the output of the different tests. And so I see the normal variant of the campaign versus the test version of the campaign. And then at the end, I give generic proposals for the next steps based on the results of the test. And then the last slide, simple thank you to conclude the presentation. So again, leave in the resource down below and let me know what you think about this project. So next one is a project that is based on flight analytics. So this is a project that I'm currently working on. So when it's ready, you will see that in my channel. But for now, I can show you kaggle.com, which is the main resource that I use to get data sets. And in this case, just search flights. Again, I'll put the link in the video description if you want to start working on it at the same time as me. And this is a super cool data set because first of all, I see the usability is 10, meaning that data set that is complete, is clean, there is no data quality issues. And the very cool thing about this data set is that the owner of this page has provided already a very clear description of what can be done with this data set. So we can analyze time patterns and trends. We can analyze American companies, for example, number of flights, the impact and overall performance. We can analyze delays and service quality, for example, checking the arrival time. And we can even check the analysis of airport performance. So a lot of very cool analysis that can be done here. And again, I'll show that when it's done. But if I give you a sneak peek on the data set, if I scroll down, I see that there are 21 columns. So very large data set in terms of columns, but also in terms of rows, because it has around 300k number of rows. So again, massive data set. And I have the year, the month of day, the departure time, scheduled departure time, the delay, and a lot of interesting things. Yeah, if you're interested, again, check the video description and keep me posted with your progress. And as I promised, I wanted to leave at the end what I think is the best projects that I made so far. And this is based on actually the number of views that I got in this video in my channel, which I think at the time of recording is more than 250,000. And so this is the COVID-19 global vaccine tracker, and is a Tableau dashboard based on COVID data that I found online. All the resources again in the video description. And this is how the dashboard looks like. If you want to replicate this project, I will also link the video up here that I made as a tutorial to recreate it from scratch. And you have the title at the top of the dashboard, so Global-19 Global Vaccine Tracker. Also some insights as part of the title. So almost 50% of the world population has received at least one dose of COVID-19 vaccine. And then you can select the start and end date, the continent, the country, so different filters at the top. And then you can check, okay, what is the share of the population that has been partly or fully vaccinated? So if they got one dose only or two doses, or actually if they haven't gotten any doses at all. And then we can see the split by country with in blue the share of people fully vaccinated, so with 2 doses, and with this yellow color with only 1 dose of vaccine. And then if I scroll at the bottom, I also see a chart showing a map. So again, I can see the share of people with at least 1 dose of COVID-19 by country. And then if I scroll down, I see how many COVID-19 vaccine doses are administered daily. So this is the result by time. And also how many boosters doses have been administered again by location. If I scroll again, there is another section where I see how does GDP per capita affects vaccinations. So in this way, I can see that obviously the richer there is a positive correlation, and the richer the country, and it seems the more people are vaccinated per 100. And this concludes the analysis and the whole dashboard. So again, you can replicate it by going in the video description. Now let's say that you have worked on some of these projects and perhaps you have a few more that you worked on in the past. The most important aspect now is to make sure that you present these projects in the best way possible. Obviously, you don't want to send a recruiter 200 lines of code, but you need to package your project in a way that is super clear and effective to demonstrate the value that you can bring to a potential employer. And if you need help with that, you can use my portfolio template that I use to make sure that I have a powerful story that makes all of my projects stand out in front of a recruiter. So if you also need an effective framework to package all of your projects, download my template from the link in the description. And if you think this video was helpful, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you need more ideas for your portfolio, make sure to check my past and future videos on this channel. And if you want to know more about the data portfolio, make sure to check these 2 other videos here in the screen. And well, thanks for staying with me till the end. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao for now, and see you in the next one.